Now we're going to create a cameo ring. A cameo ring is a finger ring that has a likeness of a person on it. In Tinkercad, I'm going to start by making a copy of my copy. And now I'll change the title to cameo ring. First thing I'm going to want to do is to cut away most of this model and just keep the face. So I'll start with the bottom, drag out a cube, and cut away that. Select everything in group. Now I'll grab this arrow and rotate what's left so that it looks more or less parallel to the work plane. I'll tap the D key to drop it down. Now I'll drag out another cube and make sure it's big enough to cut away all of the model that I don't want. Extend this out a little bit, and now I will raise it up so that I'm just leaving the face. Okay, you might want more or less of that, but I'll call it good. And select everything and group. So now I'm left with just the face. I'll tap the D key to drop that to the work plane. Look at it from the top. Now if we look at the cameo, there's an oval background. So to create that, we'll drag out a cylinder. And I'm looking at perspective view, so I can see the side of the cylinder and the top at the same time. And that's a little confusing. So on the left-hand side, I'm going to click orthographic view so that I'm looking straight down. Also recall that the sides of the cylinder by default are low resolution, so we want to make that smooth. We'll use the side slider to make the sides of the cylinder nice and smooth. Looking at it from the top, we'll extend it up that way and down and make it a little wider. So let's see, that is covering the face. First thing I'll do is click the face and raise it up 2 millimeters. And now I can make the height of the cylinder 2 millimeters. And then when I look at it from the top, the face will be sitting on top of that oval. Doesn't look too bad. I'll select everything and make sure everything's centered. Click on the face to focus. It looks like the spacing is a little bit off. On this side, notice it's narrower than on this side. And over here it's narrower than that side, and that's because the face is slightly at an angle. So with the face selected, I'm going to click the arrow and move my cursor all the way out so I can just fine-tune that rotation so that it looks more even. Okay, now I'll select everything again and recenter. All right, that looks pretty good. So while everything is selected, I'm going to group those two shapes. Okay, so we've got that part of the ring. Now we need the part that fits around your finger. And to do that, I'm going to drag out another cylinder, smooth out the sides, look at it from the top. And what you need to do now is measure the diameter of your finger. If you have an existing ring, that's great. You can just use that and a ruler. Remember that you're measuring in millimeters. For me, the inner diameter of my ring is 22 millimeters. So I'll make that 22. And this is the inner diameter of the ring, so I need that to be a cutout. Now I'm going to drag out another cylinder, smooth it, and I'd like the thickness of the ring to be 2 millimeters. So I need to add 2 millimeters all the way around, right? So if you think of it as adding 2 to the top and 2 to the bottom, that would be 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. So the outer diameter of the ring will be 26 by 26. And I'll make the thickness of the ring 3 millimeters. Center the outer ring and the inner hole together. Look at it from the top. Select everything and group. And that will cut the hole out of the ring. Look at it from the side. Rotate the ring 90 degrees. Tap the D key to drop it to the work plane. And we know the ring is 26 millimeters tall. So we will raise the face 26 millimeters. And we can select both and center and center. Okay, well, this couple things still need to be fixed. First of all, if I click on the ring and tap the F key, you can see that the cameo is actually sitting right above, right atop the ring, and that's not going to print properly. So we want to select just the cameo and drag it down 1 millimeter so that the distance from the work plane is 25 millimeters. So you can see they're intersecting here, so they'll be attached. Okay, the second thing I need to fix, unless you want a really large cameo, this is too big. So I need to resize it. But if I resize it, it's going to shrink the background of the cameo as well. And that may make that too thin. So before doing anything else, I'm going to ungroup those two shapes. I'm going to slide this over. And now I'm going to hold down the Shift key on my keyboard and resize the cameo. Look at it from the top so that I get it to be a more reasonable size. Okay, that looks about right. Now if I slide this back over, you can see that it's way too big, so I need to resize the oval, select everything, center and center. That doesn't look too bad. Just rotate around to make sure everything's looking good. Okay, now I'll select everything one last time and group and export as an STL. In my Downloads folder, here's the cameo ring. In WeBuilder, click File, Open File, select the cameo ring, click Open. There it is. Okay. Before I click Slice, I'm going to check the slicing settings and make sure that supports are everywhere and that infill density is 10 to 15%. That should be good. Now click Slice, and you can see that all the supports have been added, including a raft. All of that material will break away when the print is done. Note the time, 43 minutes. Now click the Save icon and save the G-code file to your SD card. Print the model and we'll see what we get. And here's the finished print.